All right, we are live again. I'm sitting in a different place this time. There's a guy uh, cutting his lawn across the way, and hopefully this will be a little quieter from where I was yesterday. Um, Good morning, everybody. This is Jim, the tabletop engineer. Last day of vacation. We are heading home early in the morning, so got to get one more day in of pool, beach, family. Um, Part of me wants to stay another week. Part of me is ready to get home. I can't decide which is, well, going home is no. We have to. We're out of here. But man, there are sometimes I think, oh, I could just stay another week. I'm very productive on vacations. Morning, Ron. Thanks for joining me. I'm very productive on vacations. Whenever I come on vacation, um, I bring I have a book that I keep my lists, see the things I want to do, and I just cross. And before vacation, I came with, I think 12. Yeah, 12 to dos while here. Some of them were easy, some of them weren't so easy, like editing video. An easy one was like edit all your videos. Well, that one actually was hard because I had like 10 done, and I've still got 3 left that I haven't edited. So yeah, I'll consider that a success. Um, so anyway, out of the 12, I've got three left. I'm the kind of person that if I don't get those 3 done today, there'll be a small part of me that feels like, I can't believe I did that. But then again, I did get 9 out of 12, 9 out of 12 done. So we'll see. 75% is not bad, right? Um, or what is that? 3/4? Yeah, 3/4, 75%. Um, so anyway, get done today before I head back, but we will see. That may or may not happen. So what do I want to talk to you guys about today? Well, I mentioned the Patreon that I created mentioned that there will be a monthly live discussion. Jeff says, just popping on to say thank you for all the Death Wizard stuff. I'm at work at the UK. Problem. Understand. It's good to see you, Jez. And I'm glad you like the Death Wizard stuff. More to come. Trust me. I'll go ahead and tell you. I made 3 new scenarios, custom scenarios. I have to play them and edit them before I actually, video them. So, but they're coming. So thank you. Um, so, where was I? Oh yeah, the live discussion. Live discussion once a month. That I have 2 tiers on the Patreon, $2 tier and a $5 tier. So for the $2 tier, once a month, I plan on having a live discussion for about an hour. It might go 2 hours. I doubt it, but we'll play it by ear. I want to do it. I don't want to just hard cut it. We'll try to wind it down. So it could go a little over an hour. An hour seems to be a good time. My son, my oldest son, is currently trying to help me figure out. Well, I think he knows how to do it. But he's trying to help old dad use Discord to host it, so that because Zoom, I mentioned Zoom, and then somebody pushed back and said, "Hey, you should really look at Discord. I think it's better or something like that." And my son agrees. My son's like, "Dad, Zoom, come on, that's 2019." so you got to listen to your kids. They're up on all the tech. So it looks like maybe Discord, if Dad can figure it out. But here's what I want to do. All right, so there's a 1-hour discussion each month for the $2 tier. And then there's going to be a 1-hour discussion each month for the $5 tier. Now, the $5 tier also participate in the $2, but not vice versa. That's just to give them more opportunities because, they're paying a little more. But the $2 patrons, who I'm grateful for, they will get their 1-hour live discussion. And it's not just going to be about me. I will try to come up with a topic, or maybe we'll just, open it up to whatever people want to talk about. We'll have to play that by ear and see how it develops. It may develop into something that has sort of a progression or a plan of attack for it. But right now, I think the first 2 or 10 will probably be somewhat random and unorganized. And that's just the way live discussions are when you don't have a topic. Maybe I'll come up with a topic for the first one. We'll see. So the reason I bring this up is On August 1st is when I start releasing videos. I start releasing them on the private for the private patrons. And what I plan on doing is I plan on coming up with maybe 5 to 10 suggested days and times, and I'm going to post those, and I'm going to get feedback from my patrons, my $2 patrons, to see what because what I want to do is I want to try to maximize the the most people, the time and date that works for the most people. So um, there are some online tools that I can use for that. I found one called Doodle, Doodle. I'm going to look it up right now for the website, but um, it's just one of those where, like, you list the dates and times that are available for scheduling, like birthday parties and stuff. But then people can sign in with their email, and they can vote on they can check all the days and times that work for them. And then what this thing does is it basically totals it up and says, okay, this day and time works for the most people. I think I'm going to use something like that for both Zoom sessions or Discord sessions, so that we can maximize the amount of people that can come on. Now, I have had a couple people from Patreon, from the live stream, and I've had a few emails, and I had one Facebook message, all saying, please, please, please do the live painting. A couple years ago, actually, it's been more than, I think it's been 3 years. Wow, that was at our old house. Yeah, about 3 years ago, I used to do I don't know if it was weekly or monthly, I can't recall. Felt like it was weekly. I used to do this live painting session where I would just point the camera down at the table, and I would paint and talk, and we had a chat going, and I would respond or stuff like that. Actually, I think it was done in Zoom, because I think other people would show me their things on the camera. Lunchtime painting was awesome. Was it lunchtime? I think you may be right. Hey, Cal, how you doing, Cal? Let's see. I used to watch the weekly live thing. I appreciate that. It was weekly then. Okay, you got on that. Maybe I'll try to do that. That was fun. I will admit, I got a lot of painting done. When you schedule something like that, people are gonna be tuning in. It does lend towards a little pressure to get painting. So yeah, maybe I'll do a weekly. And lunchtime painting was nice. Now, not everybody's on Eastern time like me, so it was Friday at lunchtime, says Ron. I say do it 1 hour tops. Okay, for that. Okay. Yeah, I will listen to my patrons. And, some patrons may say, oh, 1 hour is too long to sit around painting a mini. Okay. I mean, we'll see. Cal's West Coast. There you go. So noon and 9 a.m. may not be conducive to that. So we'll figure it out. Maybe I'll just do them at different times. You can never paint enough minis. So maybe I'll do a noon one on one day and a nighttime one on another day, maybe twice a week. We'll see. The Patreon was to help me justify time that I spend doing things. And so, yeah, I could probably swing that. You could do it like Indie Invasion and do it the last week of the month. Do they only do it once a month? I thought they were doing once a week, or maybe not. That's correct. Can't please everyone. Some channels are stuck watching the video. I got you, Cal. Yeah, it's tough. I think if I do a variety, if I can mix it around, but stay consistent, like Mondays at noon, or Wednesdays at noon, and Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern or 7 p.m. or whatever. I can do a late one. A late one would allow for West Coast and maybe even some internationals to watch. We'll see. We'll figure it out. But I thought about it yesterday when I was at the beach. I pondered and pondered and pondered, and I was like, yeah, let's do another live, at least one a week. But now I'm thinking 2 live painting sessions, because not only is it something the patrons have asked for, but it also helps me because I have got a lot of minis. I just backed another Kickstarter of Die Hard minis, and those are probably due in sometime soon. And and I still have some unpainted Die Hard. So yeah, that may be just the excuse I need to get those done. All right. So live painting, live discussions. There will be coming some opportunities for my patrons to chip in their voice and also let me know what works for them. I'll probably get that. Yeah, Die Hard minis are awesome. I will probably get that done next week once we get back in town. It to usually takes me a few days to get adjusted. We just got a call. As a matter of fact, I know it's going to, because I may have to take the dog to the vet. I got a call from our kennel where we put our dog in. She's a sweet, she's a sweet dog. She's a half pit bull, half pointer. She's a beautiful dog. She's sweet. She drives me crazy. She's kind of got some issues. She's a rescue, so she has she has issues. We just got a call from the vet that, and she's big. She's a good sized dog for a female dog. We just got the call from the vet. Some little dog, and I know which dog it is. Some little dog at the kennel that they keep behind the desk. They have a circular desk. It's like a it's circular, and they keep some dogs inside that are usually sweet or shy or whatever, and they love my dog Willow, so they keep her in there, and she's just sweet as she can be. They love her, and she's got a unique look. And there's another little dog they keep in there who's very yappy and very aggressive. And they've told me that the dog is very aggressive, but that Willow typically stays away from him. Well, we just got a call that that little yappy dog bit her on the ear, and she's going to need stitches, probably antibiotics. And so they're taking her to the vet right now. So we'll go pick her up tomorrow, but I will probably have to go take her on Monday to get her looked over. I mean, they're going to have the vet look over, and maybe we'll just trust that vet. But I know my wife. My wife is going to want me to take her to our vet. Let's see. They do Halloween last Thursday of the month. Yeah. You can also do a special one for patrons as a crafting one that everyone can craft the same thing. Maybe have voted on what the month before to give everyone time to gather supplies. Cal says I have a pile of minis to paint some 9,000. I'm not that bad, but it feels like 9,000 sometimes. So yeah, I mean, don't we all? I mean, I don't know anyone. I don't know anyone who has painted all their minis. Now, I'm sure there's somebody out there who, when they buy the minis, they paint them, they put them on the shelf or play. But I think most of us as gamers, I think we all do the same exact thing, which is, ooh, look at that one, buy. Ooh, I want that one, buy. Ooh, Kickstarter, 40 minis, sure, buy. Yeah, we get ourselves in. And 3D, exactly. Ron says 3D printing hasn't helped either. Yeah, that is very, very true. And my friend Brian in Alabama, I've been hitting him up occasionally with printing me resin minis because I can't do resin minis. And so he sent me a bunch a couple weeks back. Wow, it's been more than that, maybe a month back. And I got a couple of them painted, but not all of them painted yet. And I placed another order with him. And so he's going to hopefully be delivering some new minis that I'll need to paint. So we'll see. Thank you, Brian, in advance for that. I need to slow down on Brian because he could flood me easily with. I'll see minis that I like, and I'll be like, "Ooh, I want that," but it's only available for resin printing because it's not designed to be done on an FDM printer. And so I emailed Brian a couple weeks ago and said, "Hey, man, here's like a bunch of minis. I need a bunch." And he's like, sure, and I pay him for it. I pay him for shipping, so I don't go hitting him up freebies. I believe in compensating him for his time and materials. But thank you, Brian, in advance for supplying me with more minis for my unpainted pile. Although I probably will get yours painted quickly because I need them. I don't need them right now, but you know what I mean. I'm gonna need them in some future videos for the channel. So yeah. Cal says 47 years of collecting. You beat me. I've probably been only collecting minis for about 10 years now because for the longest time I just played RPGs and I played Theater of the Mind. We didn't use minis, and so it was in 2014 when I got back into D&D 5th edition that I started buying miniatures, and then I got into Warcast and Hard, and that just took off. Let me know if you need more resin minis. No, I do not need more resin minis. Golly, yeah. Now I'm thinking about all the minis I have in that workshop. All right, we'll just tackle them. We'll start tackling them. Of course, I'm never going to catch up. I think as a gamer, we should all make a pact when we're dead and gone, we have to ask our spouse in our wills to put all our minis, unpainted minis, in the coffin with us, and that could get expensive. Bigger coffin, right? That's crazy. Anyway, I don't know why that popped in my head, but all right. So let's see. What do I got? I got 15 more minutes left. What do I really should have come with a game plan, but we've been annoyed by the lawnmower guy since we woke up this morning, so I haven't had much time to think. What? Oh, I know what I was going to tell you about. If you can get a copy of it, I think you can buy individual copies. It's a UK magazine called Tabletop Gaming. Let's see if I can show. I don't know if this is going to show up on the screen. Yeah, it does. Okay. It's called Tabletop Gaming. It's a UK. It's called, the website is tabletopgaming.co.uk. Their latest issue, the August issue, has a bunch of articles related to wargaming. They have a really good one in there that I am taking to heart on making videos for wargaming. And there was some stuff in there that I just never really thought about. So I'm already excited to start implementing some of these. A crane. I'm really interested in some of the suggestions it had for filming videos. But anyway, there's some articles in here on painting minis, on creating a campaign for your game. I don't know why they chose this issue. The issue is, the magazine is normally dedicated to board games. Now, they always touch on card games, war games, and RPGs. There's always like one article on each one of those in there. But every now and then they'll have an issue that is mainly dedicated to wargaming. And I've noticed over the last year or two that they are starting to cover wargaming, not as much as board games, but they've increased it. And I think it's because so many war games are including miniatures in them that you need to paint. You don't have to, but you know what I'm saying. We all feel the need to paint them. And many board games also are coming in a campaign style, like Frosthaven, or I don't know, Frosthaven, where you get a book and you're working through a campaign. And so I've seen this magazine over the last year or two slowly increasing its coverage of wargaming stuff. Now, my wife gets me a subscription to it every year. I don't even know. I haven't even looked to see what it is. I know that it's. I only get the digital. I don't get the print copies because it would be too expensive. But I think you can buy individual issues of PDFs. And what I'll try to remember. Somebody remind me if I don't. I will go through all the old back issues that I can find that are related heavily on wargaming, and I'll post an article on the Patreon to let you know. But this one, the August 2024 issue, has some really, really good articles. I was like, why did I bring my iPad out? That's why I wanted to show it to you. A suggested site I saw for gamer patches, Zombie Gentleman Art. Really cool. I'll check it out. I will. Zombie Gentleman Art. Speaking of patches, thank you, Cal. I just had 3 patches designed for a new zine that I'll be kickstarting shortly. If you're not familiar with one of my zines, I'll forgive you. I wrote one, it's been a year and a half, called Airlock. It's for an RPG called Mothership. Well, I finally got Airlock 2. I wasn't planning on releasing more than 1 or 2 issues of that. It's I don't get to play Mothership very often. It's a horror RPG, kind of like sci-fi. It's not like Alien or whatever, and it's a great game. Love Mothership. And I really only rarely get to play it. I usually play a game of it at conventions that I go to because I can do one-offs. If everybody dies, nobody's mad because we're not continuing anyway, and that kind of does happen. So Airlock 2 is coming out. Well, I'm hoping to kickstart it next month, August. Man, that's only a few days away. Hoping to kickstart it, or not hoping to launch the Kickstarter. And the first came with a patch called Space is Hard, Try Not to Die. and the patch was very popular. Everybody loved it. I ran out of them. I think I kept a couple for my boys. I keep one of everything two of everything I create, write, whatever. I keep two in a big box, two big boxes for my boys. I want them, when I'm long gone, I want them to have a box of everything I've ever written, created, done in my life. So those patches were in there. But the patches were very popular, and I came up with another patch. But then I had another idea, and then I had another idea. I had three patches, so it was basically I was like, okay, I need to decide which one of these. And then I decided I can't decide. So I'm either going to allow my backers to vote on it, or I'm going to do all three. I haven't decided yet. I'm still pondering on it. Patches aren't cheap. You have to order them. I mean, there are places you can order them here in the U.S. Check out this zombie gentleman art and see what they offer. I do have a vendor in China who I've used for six patches in the past. They do really high quality patches. They're very reasonable in their, well, not their price, but their shipping time. It used to be, or the first patch I ever ordered, I think I waited like 2 months for it to get to me because it was shipped over a boat. And then the next time I ordered a patch, I paid for airmail, which was crazy price. I mean, it was insane. I should never have done that. I basically, the patches were zeroed out and no money on them at all to cover the cost of making them and shipping them. But then my vendor finally came up with another shipping option, which still is airmail, but it's they group it. You know, they do. I guess the airlines finally figured out they could get into this cargo container business by selling sizes, you know, and then they just pack it. So yeah, I may do all three. I may do one. I just don't know. We'll see. Hey, Tyler, how are you doing? Welcome to the live stream. Although it's only got 8 more minutes, man. You're late, but you can rewatch it. No problem. Let's see. I love the patches I got. Thanks, Ron. I appreciate it. I need to get with my mom if she had an attachment to her sewing. Yeah, I've seen the sewing machines, the embroidery ones. You load up the different color threads, and it's like a computer controlling it. The problem is, you know, if you need 500 of them, you know, it takes a while. So you got to go with a company that does it large scale. So I think I ordered 350 of the Space is Hard, Try Not to Die patches. And golly, now it occurs to me, I've had so many people ask about that patch, and I told them, I said, if I ever do Airlock 2, I'll do a reprint. So now I got to do 4 patches possibly. Oh man, I'm glad I remembered that. I would have remembered it anyway, because in the Kickstarter write-up that I created, there is an add-on already added for a reprint of that patch. So yeah, I wouldn't have forgotten, but I forgot this morning. So there will be at least 2 patches available in that Airlock 2 Kickstarter, but possibly 4. Golly, fulfillment will be very tricky. I get my boys to help me with fulfillment, you know, stuffing envelopes and stuff, but sometimes you do it yourself because you want it done right. Although you know, we have a quality control system where I measure each envelope to determine that everything's in there that it needs. All right, Ron, have a good one. I'll talk to you soon. Yeah, better late than never, Tyler. That's all right. We were talking about earlier just some scheduling of some times for the live painting and the live discussions for patrons. So if you want to see that, just watch the video over. But that will be coming very soon, where I'll allow patrons to help me decide on those times. So anyway, excuse me, Airlock 2 will, I say a launch in August. A lot of it depends on Kickstarter, because the way the Kickstarter works, if you've never done it, you create your Kickstarter, and they have a tool that you do to create all the rewards and the add-ons and the descriptions and stuff like that. And you have to link it to your bank, and you have to do this every stinking time. You can't, if you've done a Kickstarter once it doesn't save that information. So you got to go through the whole rigmarole of connecting it to your bank again and getting them to approve. And then you submit it to Kickstarter, and then you wait anywhere from 5 days to, I think the longest I ever waited was a couple weeks. Don't ever do a Kickstarter in February when they do Zine Month. Don't ever expect to have that approved unless you've already submitted it like a month in advance. Okay, if you submit that, like Zine Month is February, all of February, 30 days, 28 days. If you submitted your Kickstarter for approval like on January 25th or 29th or 30th or whatever, it's not going to get approved until probably the end of February. They just get slammed. I think they have a very limited number of people at Kickstarter that do the approval process. So you never know. It could be just 3 to 5 days. It could be a couple weeks. But as soon as you get an email that says, "Congratulations, your Kickstarter has been approved," and there's a launch button. You push it and you go. And then you wait. You wait for the Kickstarter to end. Then you wait for the funds to be transferred. Then you take those funds and you send them to the printer, and you wait for the printer to ship you your stuff. I've done so many now that it's just a process. And then you hope the printer doesn't mess things up, like the last Kickstarter where they sent me brochure. I had brochure adventures for Delver 14 and Runes 3, and they looked great. I pulled them out of the box. I opened them up, and a third of them were blank on the inside. They had not been double printed. So anyway, hopefully they fixed that. They said that was a bug in the software and that they fixed it. So I submitted 4 brochures, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yeah, 4 brochures for Runes 4 and Delver 15 Kickstarter. I'm hoping all 4 of those come back in one piece. As a matter of fact, they've already arrived. I got an email that said they had shipped, and then my neighbor who checks my mail picked them up yesterday. She's like, "These boxes are heavy." I'm like, "Those are my brochures. I knew it." The zines will be here in another week or so. They usually take a little longer because they're bigger, and brochures can be printed out on their high-speed machines, but they have to be stapled and folded and all that good stuff. So anyway, exciting times to be a game creator, a gamer. There's so much stuff going on. I have to bye, Cal. You take care. I have to be very careful these days in my spending. Believe it, I'm not rolling in dough. I know some people think that these zine creators out there and these game creators and stuff are just pouring in. The money's pouring in. It's not. Trust me on that. If you want the realities of the zine selling and zine stuff, I can tell you right now. I don't know any zine creators, and I maintain contact with about a dozen. We communicate through Facebook and stuff like that. Oh, you said bye to, okay. I maintain communication with a dozen of them or so, and we have a private little chat sometimes, and I'm constantly surprised that all of us are still doing zines, because often the one complaint you hear is, I love doing, man, I wish I could make more money on it, but to quit my job or do whatever. And I don't know if I'd quit my laser business to do this full time. I don't know. I enjoy my laser business, so I guess I'll be grateful that I have the gaming stuff and the laser business combo. But yeah, lots of zines, lots of creators who are very happy. It's a labors of love, but it's not a business you want to get into if you're looking to retire. It's like the early 80s on steroids with all the new art. I know, Cal. Isn't it crazy? Or Tyler said that. Every morning when I wake up, I have emails from Kickstarters. I have emails from Backer Kit. What other? Emails directly from game creation companies and stuff. I have to filter through 24 emails. I'm not exaggerating. At least 24 emails a day related to gaming products. Usually it's adventures or zines or new board games, which I follow and stuff like that. But it's insane, but it's also makes me smile that gaming just has not been bigger and better. It's just so amazing. And I think COVID helped with that. I think a lot of people who were stuck at home, or they played online games, or they played board games with their families and stuff. I think we're seeing an increased interest because people started playing games, and they're like, "This is fun." I'm not on my iPad with my children are in and laughing and stuff. I think that's a part of it. I also think a part of it is that the games have become a lot more interesting. I mean, when I was a kid, I got bored of Monopoly after a while. I got bored of Operation, after a while. It was, you can only set off that red nose buzzer, so many times before you're like, all right, this is done. But the sheer volume of games being introduced, also the topics. I mean, if you're interested in World War II and clowns, I guarantee you there's a game out there that has merged those two topics somehow in a way. Um, I think The Walking Dead, the interest in zombies spurred a whole slew of war games and board games and video games. Battlestar Galactica. My sister, who is not a geek, not a nerd, never watched any of the sci-fi and geeky shows that I watched as a kid. She called me up after the Ron Moore Battlestar. She called me up. This was early 2000s or mid 2000s. She called me up one day and she's like, "Jim, have you been watching this new Battlestar Galactica? It was like in season 3 or something." I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "This is awesome." I'm like, "You're a nerd, LeJean." And she said, "What?" I said, "You're a geek." "No, I'm not." I said, "LeJean, my sister's name is LeJean. It's Canadian. Everybody thinks it's a weird name, but it's Canadian." She 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 discovered Battlestar Galactica and was hooked on it. Now she watches a lot of sci-fi shows, especially on Apple TV. I think people are wising up to the fact that those of us in the 70s and 80s who were into geeky stuff, we weren't crazy. We were ahead of our time, right? I think there's something to be said for the fact that so many people attend Comic Cons and gaming conventions who are not traditionally from our. They've discovered it now, and I don't care. I mean, I'm glad they discovered it. I'm glad they discovered it, and I don't care when they discovered it. It's nice to see our hobby getting so much attention and growing. So Cal says we are drowning in choices. We really are. We really are. But you know what? I don't know. Now, I do think there are some bad things about it because there's a lot of quality issues. I have kickstarted some games where I got the game, played it, and I was like, this was not play tested. This was not, But then again, my philosophy has always been that anytime I like something, there is somebody who does. For every person out there who writes a bad review, there's 10 people that love it, right? On Amazon. As an old book writer, tech book writer, I put out 35 books in 10 years. 35. I was very proud of my books. I think out of those 35, there was one that was sort of a dud. I even agree that it was a dud, and it was assigned to me. It wasn't one that I wanted to write, but they paid me, and I was like, okay. But of all the books I wrote, I was very proud. When I signed that last page off and sent it off and done, I moved on to the next book. But what's funny is you'll get a 1-star review on Amazon, and often I would read them, and sometimes it was related to shipping or damage done to the book. It was something out of my hands. So you get a 1-star review or a 2-star review, somebody did a book or whatever. But I quickly learned that for every 1-star review you got, there were 100 people that loved the book but never wrote a review. And that's the curse of Amazon. That's the curse of being a writer, is that when people are happy with something, they're happy. They very rarely, they might tell their friends or their family, "Oh, I read this book," or "I got," whatever. They'll do that. But Amazon, when you go to Amazon and you look at a book and you see reviews, always keep in mind that that's just one person's opinion. Look at the stars, look at the 1-stars, and read them. Read the reviews, and that'll usually. I have to read the reviews. I don't go based on just the star. I go, "Oh, 5 stars, I'm going to buy it." I read reviews. But I quickly learned that for every one person that writes a negative review, there are 100 that didn't write a positive review. So keep that in mind. when you're playing these games. But I have played some duds, and I'm not going to mention any names. So at least they're not from Xerox machines and hand stapled. You know, that's funny that you say that, because the very first zine I ever did, I chose to do it old school. Now, I had the pages individual. I designed the pages in an app called Lucid Press. It's an online thing. I designed the page layout in that because I didn't have any software like Affinity Publishing or anything like that at the time. I designed the layout. Now, when you do a zine, remember that the pages are stacked and then they're folded. So if you have a 32-page zine, page 15 and 16 are on the same page and folded together. So when you open it up, you see 15 and 16. And then on the back of 15, 14, and on the back of the 16 half page is 17, right? So we fold it up. And so you have to you either have to do that manually in your head, which is tricky, or you find an app that will organize your PDF or whatever into a booklet style. And I found one. Mac has one, or there's one for the Apple called Booklet. It's an app called Booklet. It's not by Apple, but I don't know who makes it. It's called Booklet. And it's very simple. And you take your PDF and you put it in the order that the pages are, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way down to whatever. And then you open it up within Booklet, and Booklet will organize the pages so that when they're stacked and folded, they're in the right order. So I did that, and then I took those individual PDF files down to the print shop, and I had them print them up. And I didn't have them collated. Now, I only sold 200 of this zine. It was called Tavern Tales #1. And it was intended to be a series, Tavern Tales 2, and maybe one day I'll do it again, but I never followed up with it, mainly because it was let me describe it. Okay, so took it to the printer, they printed it up. Then basically I collated it, it was a short one. It was I think 16 pages or so. So 8 pages in all, 8 stacks, and then you fold it in half. I stacked them. I folded them by hand. I stapled them by hand. Oh, yeah, and I put the cover. The cover was a heavy cardstock, so you got to fold that and put it on the outside and then staple. And then I put them all in envelopes, and I didn't hand address them. I used a label maker software to import all the addresses and print them out. Otherwise, because I wasn't going to handwrite 200 addresses. And I sent them off. And the reason I did that was because when I was little, zines, that's how they were done. They were photocopied or mimeographed or Xeroxed or whatever you want to call it. And then they were collated, folded, stapled, and usually hand delivered, if not mailed, because a lot of zines were at the time handed out locally to groups and stuff. But I wanted to do it. I wanted to be able to say, guys, I'm going to do, and this is what got me into zines. I had no intention really of doing any more. I called it Tavern Tales #1 because I was just going to stop at #1, and kind of like a lot of zines, they did their first issue and they never did it again because people realized, how much of a pain it was. So I released it, and after I released it, I got the bug. I was like, "Ooh, I want to do another one." And then Old School Essentials came along, and it was a no-brainer. I was like, "Oh, I could." But by then, I had found better software for creating the zine. I had found that the print companies can collate it and staple you and stuff like that. So zine creation for me, I won't do that again. So been there, done that, says Tyler. Okay, Tyler, Well, folks, it is coming up on 40 minutes, and I did say I was going to keep this under 30. I've got to go wake 2 boys up because they're letting their day get away, and I also got to get some packing done while it's not so hot. We pack stuff in the car the day before or the night, but tonight we're going out with our family, so I may not have a chance to do it. So I'm going to get packing some big stuff and try to get some last minute work done this afternoon and this evening. But the next time you see me, I will be back in Atlanta, which is already bothering me because this has been very relaxing and I've got a lot done. Been very productive week for me. So thank you, patrons. Let me wrap this up by saying I make this video available to the public. If you are not a patron of mine, it's okay. You're welcome to watch these videos. Bye, Cal. Bye, Tyler. Bye, Ron's already gone. Who else we got on here? I think that's it. If you're not a patron, please check it out, because for $2 a month, you have access to all of my new private gameplay videos that will be hosted on the patron page. They will not go to my Tabletop Engineer Plays YouTube channel, although I will continue to make videos that are public for YouTube. So no worries there. Those will continue. But if you want more games, more variety of war games and stuff like that, consider becoming a patron of mine. I would love to have you on board. And again, the low tier that you get all the private video access is just $2 a month. All right, that's it for my spiel. This is Jim, the Tabletop Engineer. Everybody, thanks for joining me. Have a great rest of your day and have a great weekend. And I'll see you next week. Take care.